yeah, it's just both movies now are
Yeah.
not as good for me anymore. Well, the second one, obviously, but
yeah. Well, just I mean, just to comment on that, I think like the first movie, it took them like a year to get even the okay to make the movie.
yeah,
Like, it was not something that Warner Brothers wanted to do.
right.
And then
And they had to get a bunch of different backers. I
yeah,
think
because Warner Brothers only paid for half of it. They were
Yeah.
not paying for all of it.
Yeah.
Which they screwed up on. And this is why I think it's a problem now, because they didn't pay, they didn't back the whole thing.
Right. So their profit
Wasn't as big as it could have been
Exactly.
if they did. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh shit, well let's do another one, and we
Right.
back this whole thing, put a
Right.
big budget on it, we'll make the money back.
$200 million was the budget on this.
$200 million, right?
What the fuck was $200 million
In this movie, right?
In this movie.
Right, yeah.
They got taken for a ride. I feel like the director, writers, whatever, they were like, we got them on the hook. Let's tell them we need this kind of paycheck.
I think it goes because what it seemed like is, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it seemed like Todd Phillips was just like, I don't want to do another one. And they're like, we made $1 billion. How much money do you want to do another one? And what do you want to do?
Yeah.
He's like, I want X amount of money, and I want to do a musical. And
Right.
Like,
And they're like,
sure,
do
Todd,
it.
do
And
whatever
they're
you
like-
want. Yeah. And he's like,
Todd's
oh,
like,
shit. Okay, I guess I have to do it then.
Yeah.
So, which it seems like sort of what happened. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But it's 100% why Warner Bros. wanted to do another one, because the first one made so much money,
And they
didn't get to cash in on it.
Right.
So I think that, to me, that, again, like, shitting on the fans, man. Like, they didn't want to make a good movie for us. They wanted to make a movie that would make them more money.
Right.
Second time around. And,
Right.
And look what happened.
It's doing poorly.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose money on it.
Right.
Well, maybe they'll lose money on it.
Yeah.
You know, depending. But they're not going to get the payday they wanted.
Yeah, the pre-sale
which-
was very, very low, and now
Right.
word of mouth coming out now.
Yeah, it's
not
not
gonna
good.
help
And
it.
this is what you get.
Yeah, shit. Even
This is
I
what you
told
get.
everybody at work, because everyone wanted to know what it was, how it was, because I told everyone I was gonna go see it on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, let us know how it is. I told all of them that it was bullshit, and none of them are gonna go see it now.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the thing is, like, you walk away from that movie, like when the movie ends, like I feel like you're just kind of sitting there. It's like,
Yeah, you're sitting there quiet, but not for like a good
not for
reason.
any good reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. You're not walking away thinking about anything.
Yeah, you're like-
contemplating anything. You're just
Right.
like,
It's like, what the fuck did
this
I just
movie,
watch?
and I'm walking away feeling empty. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
not. It hasn't like tried to point me in a direction or try to tell me something. Or if they did, the execution was not very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so that to me, that's just like shitty on Warner Brothers, but that's that's their fault, man.
Right.
I'm done. I don't know if I've ever felt bad for Warner Brothers, but I definitely don't, man, at all.
Not at all.
For
Not
doing
at all.
this kind of shit, because it's not good, and it's not for the fans. And
Yeah.
It's not like who was this movie for, and who asked for this movie?
Right.
Nobody even asked for the first Joker,
Yeah.
and they got lucky.
And we
that it
got
was
lucky.
good.
Right.
Yeah, we're lucky
Thank
that
you,
it was
you did
good.
it.
You know,
Good
yeah,
job, right.
thanks. But the second one, nobody asked for this, definitely. And the day that
And
they
it ruins it. Yeah.
yeah, the day that they announced, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Lady Gaga, we're doing a musical. Everyone was like, that's a bad
What?
idea.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Start over. Stop. And they're just like, we're doing it.
Yeah. Just don't even start over. Just
And
stop.
here we go. This is what they get. This is a response. Nobody
Right.
likes it, and it's not making any money.
Yeah.
That's your fault, Warner Brothers. Like, stop doing stupid movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It reminds me,
Yeah.
not when you're talking about how the director probably didn't want to do it. It reminds me a little bit of like Matrix 4, right? Kind of the same thing. It's like nobody asked for this.
Yeah.
We don't need to see this, but you're just throwing money at it, and you're kind of you're making an offer that people can't refuse, essentially. So they do it, and when the motivation, the passion isn't there to do it, you end up getting this kind of work, and it's not, and it is. You kind of feel bad for the actors or whatever that are in it, because they're out there working hard. Even like the behind the scene, the crew that are working on doing it and putting it together. Everybody's putting work into this. And they all just worked on something that's not doing well, that nobody wants to see or cares to see.
Yeah.
Normally I try to tell people, if you want to see this movie, you should watch it. And it took me a lot of thinking to get to the conclusion to say, if you want to watch this movie, watch it.
Yeah.
And that's my default
Yeah, pretty much for
setting
any
is
movie,
if you want to watch it, watch it. This was like the only time when I walked away from this movie and even thought about it the following day. I would not recommend even wasting your time to go and watch
your time,
this.
your money. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think, and again, man, just going back to how you started this episode, man, just how it ruins the first one, man. Because we we go on that journey with Arthur Fleck. We
Right.
get to the climax, and it just ends with this big kind of open-ended, ambiguous
Right.
ending. And it's like, yeah, we don't know what happens next, and that's perfect.
Yeah.
We don't need to know what happens next. And then now that they've given us the answer, it's like, well, it sucks, dude. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
know what happened next at this point. I
Right.
wish I didn't know what happened
Right.
next, because this is bullshit, man.
It was a
horrible
better
ending.
story
Yeah.
leaving it the other way.
Right, yeah,
Right.
leaving it how it was. Because now, yeah, again, back to square one. We're starting over. He's the same, like, down in his luck, or, you know, whatever.
Right. Zero
yeah.
confidence.
Yeah, manipulated kind of
whatever.
person. Yeah. And he has to, like, grow again to become the same person he was at the end of the first movie. Like,
Right. And he doesn't
yeah.
even get to that point.
Yeah, he doesn't even get there
He
either.
doesn't get to
yeah.
that point.
Which is horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, spoilers again, he dies, he gets killed at the end
Right.
by who's supposed to be the real Joker, I
Right.
guess.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
kind of ticks me off too. It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like they just kind of threw that in there to be like, hey, calm down, fans. The Joker's
Don't
still
worry,
out there.
this
Yeah.
is the real Joker. The
Yeah.
idea of the Joker lives on
Right.
in this new kid. Yeah, and people, I read some articles, man, people were saying that's supposed to be Heath Ledger's Joker. Because they went out of the way to get a kid that looks like Heath Ledger, sort of.
Oh,
and
did
he's
they? I
supposed
mean,
to
I
be
hope
the
not,
one
yeah.
that ties in, and like this is supposed to be the real story
Yeah.
of how Joker got his scars. You know what I mean? Because like the whole movie, Dark Knight, you want to know how I got these scars? It's a different
Yeah.
story. You never
True,
know.
true, right.
Which is way better. You never
Way
need
better,
to know. You
way
never need to
better.
know. And then now, if they're trying to answer that question for the Dark Knight,
Yeah.
how he got his scars, it's like, oh, it's because he killed the first Joker and became the second Joker, and now
Yeah.
he's the Joker that we got from Dark Knight.
Right. Yeah. Just
Screw
don't.
you guys, man.
Yeah, just
like,
don't.
Stop ruining more things. Like,
Right,
stop continuing to ruin more things. And I don't know if that's like what they intended to do, but that's what people are talking about, is that it's supposed to be
Right.
the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Man, maybe
But-
that's not the case. Maybe that's just
Yeah.
somebody,
It's
trying
another
to connect
Joker.
a dot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that too. But like, they're trying to, either way, they're trying to tell us, oh wait, that wasn't the real Joker. This is the real Joker.
Yeah.
Hey.
But see, I mean, even if you do that, so there was another guy named Harvey Dent that showed up. Like, we
Yeah.
already have a Harvey Dent
Right,
in this
yeah.
world, right? So
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah, so it's not gonna- yeah.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna connect.
Yeah.
The Joker movie was fine when it was its own. Like, it was a one off. It was just a cool story. It was never the official
Yeah.
Joker story
Right,
at all.
yeah.
Like, I mean, Joker has always had like various and different,
Mhm.
origin stories or backgrounds, and this was just a cool one to be entertained by.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the guy kind of usurped the title, the name Joker, to tell this story about a person with mental illness.
Yeah, essentially like Taxi Driver. With
Right.
the-
Yeah.
With the Joker.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he said he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and-
is
and
okay.
that's
That's
exactly what he did. Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah, and you're cool.
You
You,
know?
made a lot of money. Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
leave
but
leave
it does
alone.
feel like, yeah, the studios would have been like, hey, we had an opportunity to make $1 billion,
Yeah.
and we failed at it.
Right.
So
yeah.
and I don't even get it, because the first Joker was only like, I want to say 45 or 55 million,
55 million. Yeah. I mean,
like super cheap.
yeah.
Like, you guys couldn't produce. I mean, you're that worried about a
Mhm.
Joker movie that you couldn't come up with the 55 million to produce, that you only
Yeah.
had to go with half of it or something.
Right. It's because they didn't believe in it.
Right.
They're fully like, we're just gonna let them do this movie. We're not gonna pay for it. So if we lose money, 25 million, whatever, that's not a lot.
Well,
you
shoot,
know?
even if you
So,
put in 55 million.
yeah.
Like, the movie's got, is at least gonna make 100 million just because of the name, because it's got Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker's in it. You would think.
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying.
Right.
Like, yeah, this isn't gonna do anything. And I think maybe they're worried about the rated R. They're worried about the dark DC stuff, that they think they automatically think dark DC doesn't do well because of the
They
past,
automatically,
you know?
like,
But-
everybody wants to assume what the
Yeah.
customers want, what the buying
Exactly.
audience wants, and
Mhm.
everybody assumes that the buying audience, that we're all stupid,
Yeah.
we're all idiots, and we just want something very
Right.
basic. And basic is cool, but nobody's going to say no to something that's good,
Yeah.
something that's entertaining. And rated R can be good and entertaining. I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
have
done well.
history,
Yeah.
obviously, of that.
Right.
So,
So yeah, and yeah. So that's on them for not believing in it, and now
Right.
they're like, oh,
and then
okay,
so clearly they're like, we want to commit, but we don't want to commit.
Yeah.
We want to. I mean, shit or get off the pot kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one or the other. So do it or don't.
Mhm.
And if you messed up, then you reap it.
yeah, right.
And now this just feels like karma.
yeah,
The fact
this is
that
what
they
you guys
invested
get.
all this $200 million
Yeah.
in this movie. That's like flying through space, CGI monsters,
Yeah.
energy blast. There is nothing like this in this movie.
Yeah, it's not really any CGI or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is an explosion,
Yeah, right.
towards the end, but that wasn't like $100 million explosion. Shit, I would have
Right.
done that for you for like $49.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I 100% agree, man. It's ridiculous. And man, for people, I don't know, it would be like putting a vegan in charge of In-N-Out and being like, I'm gonna decide what meat eaters want. Like, because I know you don't know, man.
Right? This is not your thing.
Expertise.
This is not your thing.
Yeah, this isn't where you should be deciding for people what the customer wants.
Or they're running a steakhouse.
Running a steakhouse, right? Like with real steak. You know what I mean? Like don't.
They're gonna start slipping in the faux steak.
Or that though. But they'll like they have no experience with what a steak eater wants or what somebody who wants meat, who wants a burger, and they're gonna decide like, I'm a vegan, I don't eat meat, but I'm gonna decide for you in this meat eating restaurant what you guys like.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not how that works. Like, go where your strength is, man. Like, don't put somebody in charge of making these decisions and deciding what we as comic book fans want.
Yeah.
And, being surprised that they're not working. It's the same with Star Wars, same with the MCU now. All this shit's happening there where they're putting all these things in where they think they know what we want.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Right.
And we tell them. Everyone tells them.
All the time.
Like, it's getting tiresome now. I'm getting tired of saying the same shit over and over. Like, this is what we want to see. And they're like, okay, we'll do the opposite.
Yeah.
Why didn't nobody like it?
And that's every fan. It's everybody. Everybody wants to see something good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and I think we talked about this on the show a long time ago. If you give somebody like dirty water to drink, I always bring up that Malcolm X theory, right? Or that Malcolm X that situation where if you serve somebody dirty water and that's all they've got to drink, then sure, they're gonna, if they've got no choice, then you're gonna get some people that are gonna drink it. But if you give somebody a good choice, they're gonna choose to watch or consume something good.
Yeah.
AKA, like the original Deadpool movies, the Joker movie, Dark Knight. There are a ton of good movies that you can write, tell, develop, blah blah blah, where you don't have to pander to like that lowest common denominator kind of thing, or it doesn't have to be silly. It doesn't have to be like serious joke, serious joke. Yeah, it doesn't have to be joke serious. Yeah,
right. It doesn't have to be catered to one type of people group.
Right.
Yeah, like overly,
put some thought into it. Put out something good. Don't overthink it. Just put out something good with well-developed characters, well-developed situations. Go back to that storytelling 101. Like, stick with that. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look, I mean, look at what has done well for you before. You know what I mean? The Dark Knight trilogy did really well.
Right.
Everyone loves it. It made a lot of money. Joker did really well. Everyone loved it. Made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like, stick to the blueprint, man.
Right.
Like, where in that formula did it become?
We need something
they want a musical. They want a musical with Joker and Hart. That's what we think the audience wants now. Is that because it's projected it's gonna make a lot of money based on what?
Yeah, where you get
this from? It's based on nothing. You're basing it on nothing. So I don't know. It's kind of it's ridiculous at this point. And like the surprise of like, oh, we didn't know this wasn't gonna do well. It's like, how, man?
Yeah, that's
like,
then that's 100% on you.
Yeah,
and this is what you get.
Exactly.
That's what you get.
Sorry, man. Like, your head's up at your ass, and there's no ideas up there. So look out. Get your head out in the real world and see what
you've been up there for a while. You haven't found a good idea.
Exactly.
Yes.